Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only forecast for the upcoming weekend and for next week as well. Let's have a look at the infrared satellite map showing the lightning strikes today. And as we've been talking about all week, quite a widespread area of showers and thunderstorms through central parts of Australia, from Western Australia into the southern half of the Northern Territory, the northern half of South Australia, in fact, even the northern 2/3 of South Australia, and then spilling over into Queensland and into New South Wales. And we're going to see more of those thunderstorms and showers tracking eastwards over the next day or two. Further to the south or southeast, those windy westerlies carry on, showers coming through. A few of those could be heavy with isolated thunderstorms. See a couple of them here around northern parts of Tasmania. And over in Western Australia, we've got a bit of a southerly flow coming through as that big high pressure system starts to move on in. So here on the air pressure map, you can see that big high, very slow moving, but you'll probably appreciate that when it arrives. It is moving in very slowly here as we go into Friday evening. The southerly portion of it coming in to Western Australia and South Australia. Further to the east of that though, the westerlies carry on into Victoria and around Tassie. And then you've got this area of convergence. That's where we're likely to see some severe thunderstorms as we go through today in New South Wales. And there's also a little bit of sinking low pressure up here into the tropics. So around Darwin, we're also expecting some thunderstorms. So let's break that down for you. Here is the thunderstorm map for this afternoon, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Severe thunderstorm risk here, all the way from about Broken Hill right through till about the mountains and the ranges coming in towards the A.C.T. The A.C.T. appears to be outside of it. You never quite know going into tonight. There might be some thunderstorms around. As you can see, there's a line here kind of connecting up further southwards as well. So that is moving through. And then you've also got more isolated ones further up around the Northern Territory coming into Queensland and spreading out towards the coastline. But the severe risk is mostly around New South Wales and perhaps a little bit around Alice Springs as well. Here is Saturday going into the afternoon. So the area of convergence, a little bit of low pressure in there, showers, downpours, thunderstorms moving slowly eastwards, coming sort of out of New South Wales, moving into parts of Queensland. You're still seeing more showers around central areas and western parts of Queensland and into the southern half of the Northern Territory. But as the big high slow motion moves in, that sort of reduces the southerly winds around Western Australia, still keeps the southwesterly going on in South Australia. So you've got showers in Adelaide, showers in Melbourne with lower temperatures on Saturday evening for anyone going out with a westerly breeze blowing through there. And as you go further down into Tasmania, you've got the chance of a bit of snow around, nothing too big, but some snow on the higher tops. And you've got the windy westerlies blowing through. That severe weather risk is probably more so just south of Tasmania. So I'm really sort of putting this out to boaties just to be aware there could be severe gales coming through just on the southern coastline, close to Hobart, maybe not quite into Hobart, but in that area for you. So the next lot of thunderstorms, we now jump forward to Sunday, just after midnight. This is central time, so around Darwin and parts of Katherine, we're getting some thunderstorms developing there. It's nothing out of the ordinary, but we haven't really been seeing that a lot over the last few months. So we might be seeing a bit of a hint that we're changing seasons there. Here is Sunday going into the afternoon. So there is that low pressure area. That's why we're seeing a few thunderstorms or showers. Looks like most of them are in the Northern Territory, but you never know. A few might just sneak over into the Kimberley. And we've also got a few showers, thunderstorm risk around the far north of Queensland. Showers along the eastern side and around the Great Dividing Range. Again, a couple of isolated thunderstorms are possible, but overall, we're seeing a fair bit of dry weather coming through, and that's all due to this big high that is stretching out. It is stretching out into New South Wales and the southwest corner of Queensland as we go into the later part of Sunday. But the sou'westers and the showers, they carry on around Adelaide, Port Lincoln, Kangaroo Island. It comes all the way down here into about Mount Gambier, and you see parts of Victoria getting showers. The eastern side pretty dry, they're dry in the A.C.T, dry in Sydney, and once more Tasmania caught up in the wintry southwesterly with heavy showers, a few thunderstorms over on the west coast, fairly dry in the eastern areas, and many of you still feeling that temperature down below where you want it to be, especially here on Monday as a southerly comes in. Again, that's ahead of the big high. So the southerly that's in Perth today reaches these areas in the southeast on Monday, and it's a much colder southerly by that point. That's why you're seeing the polar line come right up into New South Wales and the A.C.T. So that means a dusting of snow again on the mountains and ranges of Victoria, a little bit into New South Wales, maybe the A.C.T. as well, and clearly around Tasmania. Further north, because of the southerly coming into Queensland and into the Northern Territory, that is drying things out. Lower temperatures. There are some frosts around this weekend and maybe going into next week as well. There is still a bit of a breeze here, so you need to check your local forecast because it does move around a wee bit. And you got showers in the northern and eastern parts of Queensland, and a few more showers and thunderstorms around the top end and into the Kimberley. By Tuesday, the high is the main feature here on Tuesday. The Tuesday is also the spring equinox in the very early hours of the morning. If your calendar says the 22nd, that is most likely UTC time over in England. But basically you're seeing showers here in the southeast corner. Some of those might be a little bit heavy, but the wintry portion of it has moved out to sea, but you might see a little leftover bit here. You've heard of a solar flare. This is like a polar flare. So it sends up this little bit here, a little bit of coldness still lingering around. So Sydney, Wollongong, further southwards, including the A.C.T., it's a colder southerly or southeasterly. It's not brutally cold, but you'll feel it. Showers continue around Tasmania, but you'll be pleased to see the polar line clearing away from you. I'm sure most of you are happy with that. And elsewhere, windy easterlies that will pick up further during the day with the daytime heating. That's going to keep temperatures fairly mild over Western Australia, with those temperatures going up now around Perth and the south and the southwest and south as that high continues to move further into South Australia, which it does on Wednesday. That finally gets rid of the showers for South Australia for the most part, and the wind as well, although it's still a bit of a southerly around Adelaide, southerlies into Melbourne, and the polar line returns to Hobart, although not so much for Lonnie and Devonport and other areas in the north here. And a southerly breeze also blows up the eastern coastline. It doesn't look too strong, but it may be a little brisk if you're on a boat or out at sea or in the islands around here. You will be feeling that southerly blowing through. And further to the north, that southerly clears away the humidity, the heat, the thunderstorms for most of you, except for some parts of Queensland. It's a lot drier now in the Northern Territory and the top portion of Western Australia. And by Thursday of next week, high pressure dominates the continent. There isn't a lot going on. We're seeing more high pressure coming out of the Indian Ocean, and the polar line still stuck in the same place. If it makes you feel any better, Tasmania, just look at New Zealand's South Island. They are in the same boat as you, especially the southern half, where it's been windy, wet and cold, much more, sorry, I should say colder than it's been in previous years as well. So there's a bit of drama going on in the New Zealand area. But as for Australia, apart from a bit of a windy westerly through parts of Victoria and over the top of Tasmania, it's actually looking pretty calm as we go through next week. Just one last map to show you. This is not yet locked in, but next Wednesday there is a chance of a Super Typhoon coming in around Hong Kong. Now yesterday's modelling had it further down coming in towards Hainan, but this is worth monitoring next week, coming in from the east, coming out of the Pacific Ocean and heading towards China. There may be another one near Japan and also a big rainmaker in India. So for your neighbours to the north, that is what is going on. That's all from me. I'll be back again on Monday. Have yourselves a great weekend. Our video on Monday hopefully will be on time, but there is a chance it just maybe a couple of hours later on Monday. We'll see how we go. Some of our videos have been a bit late lately. We've had technical issues, especially with the internet. And believe me, it only takes a small internet issue before suddenly uploading a video to YouTube goes from being a few minutes to being a few hours. But hopefully that is all resolved. So have a great weekend. I'll see you again on Monday.